Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast Room 303, episode 181. I'm your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This is my co-host, Nicholas Moorhan. And as always, we have with us the EPE. On today's episode, we'll be getting into the NHL and NBA mid-season point. It's actually a generous term to put. It's probably about the three-quarter point, but you get what we're trying to get at. We'll also be discussing the return of Jon Jones and his debut at heavyweight. And we'll get into the main card of UFC 285. Then we'll also, at one point in time in today's episode, turn over the rails to EPE for the classic Communion with E. Till then, how are you doing this evening, Nick?
I'm good. If this friggin' quit messing around with these wires here, go away. Right? I feel like that's how I'm going to start every podcast, is just telling this dog to go away from me. And he just comes back. I'm good, dude. Got some good news today. Career trajectory altering news. So those of you that know, when it comes time to drop it to the tens and tens of listeners, I will drop it. But good news today, and it's got me in a hopeful mood, if not anything. What are you cheesing at, Eric?
The squeaky sound in the back.
Dude, it's just I can't do anything with him, dude.
No, it's
he has no respect.
No,
There's no respect. Respect media.
The shareholders will be disappointed.
They'll be very disappointed. That's why Eric's all hard up for it. For the roomies out there, for this episode is a very special episode because Eric hasn't told us this, but we think he may have some big fish on the line. This episode needs to go smoothly, or we're not getting extended by our 303 radio network.
He's like Vince McMahon trying to put together a viable product before his big sale. Mm-hmm. He's been plotting and scheming. How you doing this evening, Eric? Plotting and scheming?
Yeah, dude. Stay scheming, bro. Like Drake says. No, I'm doing good. I just taking on a little bit more here. So, and my natural state is a stressful state. So, just when I add more things to my plate, I just stress about it uncontrollably. You know how it is. So, but no, I did have a question for you guys. So we've been talking about it a lot lately.
Whoa! Is this the Communion with E?
No, absolutely not.
All right, go ahead.
I wouldn't just jump into communion without letting you do your
Well, yes, you do. You did it like the last 2 or 3 times.
Have I really?
You just be like, all right, Communion with E time. I got a surprise question for you.
This is just a general question, just because I'm curious.
All right.
So Damian Lillard drops like 70+ points the other night, and the group chat's silent, and everybody's always talking about LeBron James. And I was thinking about it. Rest in peace, Kobe. But when he retired, it was like over the summer. That was it. He was out the league. And I'm just, how long do you think before LeBron, how long is it going to take for LeBron to be out of the league before people just stop talking about him? And I know it's never going to be we're not going to talk about him. But is he just the guy that this new generation is just going to always compare everything to?
So I'll answer first because I know Jermaine has an opinion on this. LeBron has made a lot of money, or has invested a lot of money into his media companies. He will always be in front of our faces until the day he dies. And when he retires, he's going to be insufferable because he's going to get that old man syndrome where he's going to start to forget the little things and just say that he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, look, we live in a very different generation than the generation that grew up with Kobe. The 24/7 news cycle has been accelerated to 48/14 in the same time frame. I mean, there's so many things that are reported and discussed that nobody remembers 3 days from now. And this generation has become Agent Smiths for LeBron. They've been standing for him so hard. They've been calling him the GOAT since before he won a championship. So let's not forget that, right? LeBron got beat by Dwight Howard in the Eastern Conference Finals with everyone talks about how LeBron carried a bummy ass squad. Okay, can anybody name anyone on the Orlando Magic squad? I'll wait. No.
Oh Jesus! No, Peja Stojakovic was not on that team.
It
Was
is
Adi Divac on that team?
No, it is a European guy from the Kings though.
Oh no, it's not Ziltrunas. No,
No, he was on
LeBron had Ziltrunas and Gauskas, right?
Yeah, see, you could name somebody on LeBron's team before. Like,
oh man, who was it?
Hito Turkoglu.
God dang it!
Yeah, Hito Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson, Rashard Lewis, Michael Petrus. Oh my goodness. Why am I drawing blanks now? Oh, JJ Redick was on that squad.
Oh, JJ Redick was on that squad.
Yeah. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, they had been crowned this kid or this man the GOAT for well before he was even worthy of being in the conversation. And that's going to continue. Just like the generation before us, they're all Agent Smiths for Michael Jordan. It's going to be the same thing for LeBron.
Yeah.
And he's never going away. Braun is literally the name of a media company that produces, I mean, I haven't really seen that great a movie, but he's producing movies. So his shoe line will stick around because Nike will continue to make money on that. LeBron will probably end up an owner in the NBA. That's just the logical progression. LeBron is just trying to do everything Michael Jordan did, just not as well. And no, he's never going away. As much as and just like Kobe Bryant never went away. Kobe Bryant won awards. Kobe Bryant was constantly showing up to games. Kobe Bryant retired and opened up. He did more and more interviews. He talked to more people. All of a sudden, you heard about all these kids that are in. It's not kids. These stars in the NBA that Kobe Bryant was out there mentoring. He was starting his Mamba Academy. Like, Kobe Bryant was not going away. And that's a common misconception. Kobe Bryant is now away because of a totally different byproduct. But no, these elite level athletes will always be in our face.
Okay.
If they have that personality. And Tim Duncan and Kawhi, totally different.
Yeah. I didn't mean to slander Kobe Bryant. He didn't just disappear. He won a freaking Oscar. He wrote books. Like, the man was. But I guess I'm just talking in the sense of, like, Kobe fans were like, cool, Kobe's retired. Let him live his life. Let's see what his next chapter is. And I feel like these Nimrods on this side for LeBron are gonna be like hanging on to it, like, basketball's over. The fucking LeBron's done. There's no point in watching anymore. Like, as to where normal hoop heads, with the progression of Kobe being gone, we just moved on to the next thing. We love Kobe. He's one of the greatest of all time. But it wasn't like we were hung up on him. Like, we go live your next chapter.
I agree. I agree with that. I was just gonna say I agree with that point. I thought you were coming to stop me. Go ahead. You feel like what?
No, I just feel like it. I don't know if it's because of social media or because it's this younger generation and because they got battered by the old heads, as like to call it, and they think their opinion doesn't matter. But I feel like there's not going to be that respectful, graceful exit into the next chapter. It's going to be like LeBron or nothing for these people. And it's just going to be annoying. And I would like to see him move on gracefully into his next chapter. Do whatever it is that you do, man. You're already worth a billion. You got businesses everywhere. Just move into that and leave the hoops. Go watch games. Be an owner if you want to be an owner, but don't add that extra pressure to the young and up-and-comers in the league. Like, let them come and develop themselves.
He's going to, and he already has. That's just LeBron to a T.
Think it's the fans.
No, dude. LeBron cares. I mean, probably, yeah. But LeBron cares and talks about LeBron. That's the only thing he cares about. Uh-huh. Every team he's been on, it's LeBron. It's not the teammates. It's not the coach. It's not the GM. Hell, it's not the owner. Like, dude, when the Kyrie stuff happened, what was the first thing that LeBron said? Why did nobody ask me? Who gives a fuck about your opinion, LeBron?
No, that was the Jerry Jones thing. The Jerry Jones thing. Remember that picture that he got shamed at?
Did he say that with Kyrie too?
No, that was the Jerry Jones thing. Of course, he got asked about Kyrie. That's an NBA thing.
No. Well then, okay. Well, I'm remiss, but still.
You're talking about it's. You were saying the right thing. You just picked the wrong incident. It was.
If I had a nickel.
Who gives a fuck if you're asked about Jerry Jones when he was 16 or 15? He's an NFL owner. Why the fuck should we ask you, LeBron? LeBron is constantly narcissistic. The reason why LeBron created the barbershop show with Uninterrupted and HBO was so that way he had a platform for him to talk and say his piece. Because what was the first thing he said on one of those episodes? Me beating the Warriors, coming back 3-1. That's when I was like, yeah, I'm the GOAT. Right? His narcissism knows no bounds. And that's what drives people nuts compared to other athletes. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never had to tell anyone he was the GOAT. You know why? Because people saw it and knew he was the GOAT. Michael Jordan never had to tell anyone he was the GOAT. You know why? Because people saw it and knew he was the GOAT. The difference is now LeBron is entitled, much like our generation and godly, the generation that's coming after us. And that entitlement, he feels like he should be that. I'm sorry, bro. Your fans suck. None of them have a basketball team, and it's going to be one of the worst things that ever happens to the NBA. Because when he retires, all those people who hoop heads are going to stop watching. They're going to check box scores, and nobody's going to do what LeBron did. Despite Steph Curry having 4 chips, same amount as LeBron. LeBron handpicked his team everywhere he went and only won 4. He doesn't even win half the finals appearances he makes. How is that your GOAT? How many times have you seen that man? Yeah, all right, I'm not getting sucked into Lebron anymore. I'm done.
I don't want to derail this with that.
Go into the communion. Into the communion with you.
I think the last thing I'm going to say on this is the mark of the Kobe guy, the mark of Jordan, the mark of Kareem, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, to some extent Magic Johnson, right? Is that maybe Magic Johnson is probably the most one-to-one example of LeBron James that we've seen in basketball history. So I'm going to drop him. All those other guys, they didn't talk about themselves. Other people talked about them. And the reason that they became so famous and so much of a GOAT was, championships, but also guys being like, man, I got to play against Kareem tonight. I got to play against Wilt tonight. Like the story of you don't ever, at least for me, you don't hear the stories about LeBron that you hear about Bird, Jordan, Kareem, Wilt. You don't hear those these iconic Kobe stories where it's like you don't ever hear the story about some guys who are retired that have played against LeBron that say, man, in the third quarter we was whooping his ass, and then the fourth quarter he just got this look in his eye and we knew that it was over. Yeah. Like Iman Shumpert tells a story about playing against Kobe that is one of the funny, as a rookie, that is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
Beginning of the fourth. Good game, Rook.
Yeah, good game, Rook.
Good game, Rook. He's like, what are you talking about? We still got 12 minutes.
I'm shutting you down, Kobe.
Did you guys ever see the one where AI was talking and he was like, it was like my first year in Denver and Kobe was just having an off night. He was just chilling. And I was like, all right, cool. We get calm version of Kobe. And then he's like, this second year guy on the team starts running his fucking mouth. And I'm like, hey. And he calls me Chuck. So Kobe calls me Chuck, and Kobe looks at me and says, hey, Chuck. These motherfuckers shook the tree out of Mamba and fell out. I was just like, yes! And then he cooked them for 45 in the second half.
That's it, dude. You don't hear those stories about LeBron.
No. Yeah. You don't, there's no story of fear. There isn't that fear story yet. I mean, it could come out, and I hope they do come out because that would give me much more respect. But no, he's too busy flapping his gums in the media. But I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's enough. Cool. The last thing we'll say is when you're afraid when Kawhi checks in, that's enough. Go ahead with the community with you, Eric.
All right. So in honor of something that I'm really excited for this week, I wanted to ask you guys something because it just made the connection in my head. And it's just real quick. You don't got to go longer than 5 minutes on this. But who is with their accomplishments together, and if you can think of any, I'll give you some. Who's the greatest? Who's the most famous or most accomplished pair of people that have the same name?
Is this because of fucking Creed 3 on Thursday?
Yeah, dude, I'm so fucking excited for this movie.
You goober. How am I supposed to know that?
I got options for you here. I got options.
I mean,
Cal Ripken and Billy Ripken.
No, they have to have the exact same name.
Oh.
well, Michael B. Jordan doesn't have the same name.
We're just going by first and last name. We're not including
now
middle
here it
initial.
comes.
No.
So Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan.
If Michael Jordan, his airness didn't exist, Michael B. Jordan would not go as Michael B. Jordan. He would just be Michael Jordan. You can't have the same name as that guy and try to be famous.
But I don't understand because Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my god, dude. We can just completely move off the topic. I just was curious to see.
I mean, that's the answer, Eric. If it obviously jumps off the page, but the answer is Michael Jordan and Michael B. Jordan, right? Like, can you give us the rest of the list, please?
I'll give you some that are close. Adam Scott, the golfer and the actor.
Okay.
Adam Scott, the actor?
Yeah,
from Parks and
Parks
Rec.
and Rec.
And he's got like the new show on Apple. He's won some
Yeah.
what
Parks.
is it, TV ones, the Emmys?
Oh, yeah. Dude, they're not even close.
Has Michael B. Jordan won any acting awards yet?
Has he not?
I don't know. I have no idea. I was just yelling, hoping they would believe me.
That's so funny that all it took was just you to re-ask the question to Eric. Eric, have that Mamba mentality, dude. You were just talking about it. That's not Mamba mentality.
I'm going to give you some more. Michelle Williams, Heath Ledger's ex-wife, and Michelle Williams, a singer.
Not
from
even close.
TLC.
Wait. Great Gatsby
Or
chick
Destiny's Child. Yeah, Great Gatsby chick.
was married to Heath Ledger?
Yeah, they have a daughter together.
You just broke my brain. Look, I don't pay attention to celebrities.
I understand. I'm not trying to. Yeah.
I listen to musicians, and I don't even know what they look like.
Kate Hudson and Katy Perry. Her real name's Kate Hudson.
Okay, I mean, these are good. I like it. I like it so far. But, like, come on, dude. The answer is still Michael Jordan.
Chris Evans, the actor, and Chris Evans, the radio host. But it's in England, so I don't know if it counts.
The radio host, Chris
He's
Evans?
like a radio host for BB something.
There's one Chris Evans that's carrying that team, and it's not the radio host.
And then there's Mark Wahlberg and Mark L. Wahlberg.
All right, I got it.
Who's Mark L. Wahlberg?
He hosts Antiques Roadshow.
Yo!
That's hysterical.
Yo, the daytime television show that nobody watched.
Yeah.
Yo, that's probably my number 2 pick so far.
That's gonna be my two. I got it, dude. Vladimir Guerrero and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Game. There's only 2 more on this list. Randy Jackson, the guy from what's the show with Simon Cowell?
American Idol.
American Idol, and then Randy Jackson, the youngest member of the Jackson 5.
That's behind some of those other ones.
And number seven, Michael Douglas, aka Michael Keaton, is also named Michael Douglas, but he changed it on his Screen Actors Guild so he wouldn't be confused with the other Michael Douglas.
Oh, so they're both Michael Douglas, but
they're both Michael Douglas.
Is Keaton his middle name?
It doesn't.
Yo, Keaton is a dope name. I don't know if I ever realized that before.
Oh, he wanted to use his name, but when he went to the union for the job, they were like expecting the Michael Douglas, and they got pissed off that he showed up, so he changed his name.
Why did he pick Keaton though?
It didn't specify here. I can probably look it up, but it doesn't specify in this article.
All right, word.
But so we can agree Michael B. Jordan and Michael Jeffrey Jordan are the greatest the greatest people with the same name.
Hey, bro, you knew the answer before you even asked. What are you doing? You already knew the answer.
You were setting up the answer. That's not a communion we eat. That's a hit by E.
How the fuck did he get how did he get Michael John Douglas into Michael Keaton?
Oh, his middle name's John?
Yeah, I mean the most basic name ever, dude.
I'm pretty sure some lady was like, we'll just call you Keaton.
Early life, let's see.
Yeah, maybe he just kind of picked it.
I was thinking those two would be in competition but the level of, I mean, Michael Jeffrey Jordan dude, he's a fucking icon, and he's on every sports jersey, and his shoes are worth thousands and thousands. I don't know. Yeah, you can't beat that combo.
Bro, the amount of money he still makes Nike, and he hasn't hooped since what, 2004?
3 or 4, yeah.
I think 2003 was because you know how I always hate the fucking overlap. This is why baseball has this right. It should be the whole season should finish in one calendar year. Stop fucking having a new year in the middle of your bullshit. I get so annoyed with that, and I don't know why. It's an irrational annoyance, but that's just what it is. All right, so that's enough of that. Before we get into NBA, NHL, and UFC 285, we'll probably do it in the inverse order, by the way. Let's go ahead and review head-to-head. So can you share the head-to-head? Because we haven't talked about it this week.
Sorry, it takes me a second to get it pulled up here. I don't know that was coming.
The producers aren't going to like that.
Well,
God.
It is what it is.
We've friggin' blown it now.
Oh, man. We're not getting that big money award, bro.
No daytime Emmy for us.
All right, can you guys see that pretty well?
A little bigger.
Don't listen to
Too big.
God damn it.
No, it is what it is. That's where it's at now, and that's what we're saying. No, I didn't fall for it. He's a cocksucker. Anyway, all right.
He said I didn't fall for it. He's a cocksucker, but you made it bigger.
All right, so I'm going to jump into going over this head-to-head while you chuckle fucks can laugh away. So last week we had week 7 of the head-to-head. I hate you guys. All right, so last week Jermaine went 1-2. He hit on the Colorado versus Winnipeg Jets over.
Yes, sir.
Missed on San Diego State -3. They won by 1.
No, they won by 2.
Won by 2.
They hit a 3-point shot to end the game to win the game.
So
and that was, and then I had Ryan Spann. Oh wait, did you? I had Ryan Spann.
So can we do this for head-to-head, Eric? If you see something like that happen in head-to-head, just highlight it on the spreadsheet, because at the end of the year, we can choose what our worst beat was.
Oh, that's a good idea.
For a head-to-head.
So I actually, we'll talk about it post-show, but I want to create something for the post on the IG that signify this was a bad beat or this was like a
Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah, there we go.
Worst bets.
I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
Yo, a Spotify Wrapped would be hysterical. But what we just need to get one of those beater utensils, Eric. Instead of an X or a check mark, you just put.
I was just gonna put Ike and Tina Turner like blacked out on there.
Oh my God! You're trying to monetize this podcast.
Oh.
All right, then.
The views of Eric Washington do not reflect the views of Room 303, Nick or Jermaine.
All right, and then
Eric, clip that so we can put that in as like over the little. Jermaine, can you put that in the little bar like that scrolls across the screen?
How about we record that cleanly so that way we're not all giggling like schoolgirls in the background?
We're always giggling like schoolgirls.
And then I don't know if Eric mentioned this because we jumped into the SDSU one right away, but I had LA Kings money line. They got the brakes beat off of them by the new look Rangers. But I also had Ryan Spann money line, and Eric and I were sitting here on Saturday watching the UFC fights, but without the sound on. We were watching the sound with the Sixers game. So we had both games on, and we both keep looking up because it's the main event, and it never happened. The main event never happened, and they were in post, reviewing the card. Eric and I had no clue. Turns out Ryan Spann's opponent got sick and couldn't fight, so they canceled the fight. So I had one day to put. That's what I said. I had one day to put a bet in, and I was just like, all right, let me put the LA Kings money line.
If you guys look,
no, Eric, we're just fucking around.
I was like, if you guys want it that way, I can do it, but I'm just gonna start picking things I think are gonna get canceled.
Oh yeah, you in this podcast?
Yeah.
All right, go to
Eric,
go
if
to
we
this.
entered a deal, I'm dropping you. I'm going to be you have to come with.
All right. Wow. Okay. So that brings Jermaine to 5-10 on the season, and he is down 5.3 units. Moving on to Nicholas. He went 1-2 as well last week, which seems to be the trend for him. He can't pick a winner to save his life, but he got Arkansas +8. He missed on he missed on Washington money line, and he missed on Bayern versus Union Berlin, both teams to score, bringing him to 4-10-1 on the season and down 6.6 units. But he does have 2 bets in this week, so one tonight and one tomorrow. So we'll see how those go. I went 1-2.
I'm just getting warmed up.
I went 1-2 last week. I missed on Philadelphia money line. That was a stupid bet. I hit on Indiana.
It was not a stupid bet, bro. They lost by what, 3?
Something like that. It was pretty god awful. But I'm a Sixers fan, so the Pacers money line hit. They were a dog against the Magic. I didn't really understand why they were a dog against the Magic, so it made sense for me to take that bet. And then Chelsea versus Tottenham on the draw. That was just all bad. I should have gone the other route, but Chelsea ended up losing 2-0. So that brings me to 8-7 on the year, at plus 3.8 units. And then EP Nevada had a perfect week. He went, and I didn't think it was a real bet at first. That's why I didn't update the Instagram. But it was HC, which I'm assuming stands for Hockey Club Humo.
You had them in this something else, didn't you?
What?
You thought it was HC something else, didn't you?
No. So it was a 60-minute money line. At -140, they won. He had Penn State money line, which hit, and Boston -1.5, which hit as well. So he had a perfect week. Went 7-4. He's 7-4-1 now, and up 2.6 units.
This is what I don't understand, right? Is I'm going for big bets, big hitters. Nevada is just going for these little Nancy bets. Right? He just goes like 120 to 120. What a Nancy boy.
Hey, just pick a winner, bro. It's not about Nevada. Pick a winner.
Nevada should just have some nuts.
Hey, pick a winner.
He took Daytona that plus 150.
Have some nuts.
Had it been some bullshit, he probably would have hit that bet.
Have some nuts.
Hey, just pick a winner.
I don't think I have a bet above. I think I have a bet. My biggest bet is like plus 250.
Yeah, right there.
I took Laurie Markkinen plus 650.
Eric took some garbage plus 2200. Awesome. That's all I need to do is just hit like a huge bet and then just lose the rest of the year.
Miles Sanders had 7 games.
That's a bad beat, dude. You need to highlight that shit. That's a bad beat.
Look at him. He's so sad now.
Yeah. He's so sad. I like that shit. That's your worst beat of the year. Miles Sanders MVP.
My guy had 7 carries.
I don't really like y'all motherfuckers.
All right, dude, Eric, can you pull up the UFC 285 card?
Yeah, I got it right here. Oh, you want the card or the bets?
No, on DraftKings, brother.
There we go.
Well,
Hey, a little bigger.
Nah, but for real.
No, I know.
One more. Well, no, for real. I'm the one saying it, dude. One more. Wait, you made it small again.
No, I didn't.
All right, bro.
That's perfect.
That actually is perfect.
That's perfect. You should listen to me.
I have it full screened right now. That's perfect. All right, so take us to the first fight on the main card. Do you know that? Do you know who that is?
I don't have the first fight.
Give me that. I'll pull it up.
Okay, cool.
Wah, wah, wah,
I'm assuming it would be in order. Esteban Ribovics versus Loic.
So the main cards is Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. That's where it starts.
Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett, right there, boom.
All right,
I just like Bo Nickel.
So Bo Nickel is this NCAA wrestling stud, and he was on the Dana White Contender Series, the one that just passed. I think it was season 6, and he fought on the very first card and was 2-0 He won the fight, went 2-0 in his UFC career because he went from wrestling to UFC.
Right.
But it was fucking dominant. And Dana White was like, yo, I mean, you wrestled for 30 seconds. Like, I mean, he's like, you fought for 30 seconds. How about this? I'm going to give you one more fight on the Dana White Contender Series. So he got booked for the finale of the show. If you win that one, then I'll give you a contract. Because Dana White's like, how can I obviously like objectively scout this kid if he just beat that dude in a minute? So then the finale comes from Dana White Contender Series, and he steps into the octagon again and absolutely mauls the next individual. Bro.
There it is. There's your scouting
Yeah,
report.
yeah.
Finishes quick.
Yes, and so Bo Nickel won the Dana White Contender Series contract, and now here he is on the main card already at a minus 1,500 favorite. So, Eric, yeah, this is gonna be probably difficult for you. You could probably downsize it if you need to, but I'm gonna take. I want Bo Nickel inside the distance.
Method of victory.
Bo Nickel to win by
Submission is minus 120. Oh, here's inside the distance. No, that's to go the distance. Do you think he wins submission round 1? Submission round 1 is plus 140.
Damn, this is interesting. So I'm gonna take Bo Nickel by KO.
Bo Nickel to win by KO for plus 130.
Is
Yes.
he a knock? Is he a
Nah.
knocker-outer?
So I'm gonna take. I will actually want both those bets: Bo Nickel to win by KO or Bo Nickel to win by submission. One of those is happening, and I'm perfectly all right with taking both those bets and one of them missing. Dude, let me just pick.
I'm gonna ride Jermaine on Bo Nickel to win by submission.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch. I
like what Jermaine's saying. Bo Nickel continues his dominance. Bo Nickel to win in round 1. And I think that was plus 130.
So here, round 1 is the way to go. So I'm gonna take away my KO, Eric. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go submission in round 1 at plus 140.
Plus 140.
So
it's two separate bets or one bet you want him to win by submission in round 1?
Yes. I want him to win by submission still, that one initial bet minus 120, and then I want him to win in round 1 by submission. Yeah, because if you look at the under 1.5 rounds, it's minus 305 right now, Nick.
And Nick, you want the same exact thing?
I saw the under. I'll get the same exact thing. Yeah, submission round 1. Submission and submission round 1.
Cool, got it in. Anything else on this right here, or you guys want to move back to the next page?
No, we can go back. We can go back. Appreciate you. And so the next fight is going to be Matwez Gamrot. Oh, man, that's a tough name to say. Versus Jalen Turner.
Cool.
Anything on this, Jermaine?
Oh, man. No, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm looking right at it right now. Damn, significant strikes landed per minute from Jalen Turner is pretty good. But the takedowns, sub-average. Wow, I might actually fuck around and take Jalen Turner plus 180 here. Dude, give me the dog in this one. I mean, he's the dog for a reason. This Gamrot kid is legit. I've actually seen him fight, but he's 6'3", right? So Jalen Turner's 6'3", so he has 5 inches on Gamrot. He's also got 7-inch reach. His takedown accuracy is very, very good. That means he probably doesn't do it that much, but he does have. He's pretty good at submissions as well. So I'll flirt with this plus 190. I feel like that's great value in the UFC. I have a penchant for betting dogs because all it takes is one, right? One punch, one good takedown, one arm lock, and then all of a sudden the fight is a completely different situation. I mean, you could just look at Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, right?
what do we have for Gamrot by decision? So my thoughts are he's the favorite. 86% of Gamrot's, if that's how you say it, 86% of Gamrot's fights have gone the distance. He has almost double the fight time that Jalen Turner does. If Jalen Turner doesn't knock him out, Gamrot's winning this on decision.
Getting Gamrot plus 240 is pretty good when he's a minus 225 favorite.
Win by decision, plus 240.
You're taking
86% of his fights, like I said, go to decision. I'll take it. Hey, this UFC page is pretty cool.
Which one? The one you just found?
Yeah, the UFC one.
Oh, like the UFC website?
Yeah.
Jermaine, anything on this match that you want?
Nah, I'm already going with the dog. I don't need to overexpose myself. I actually, can you? So I know that. Can you go back to that? I want to see what over 2.5 is.
Ooh, that would also be a good bet.
Over 2.5 plus 125. Let me get that. Let me get over 2.5, Eric.
These are what in these fights? It's what 5 minutes.
Three rounds.
5-minute rounds.
5-minute rounds. Three rounds unless it's a title fight or a main event.
So if Gamrot doesn't, if Turner doesn't win the first or doesn't knock him out in the first round, Gamrot wins. Maybe a live bet to look at. Expect Turner to probably come out swinging. I don't know. Maybe a live bet to look at.
All right, so match 3 is going to be, excuse me, Jeff Neal versus Rachmanov. Shavkat Rachmanov. Such a fun name to say. It's crazy that Jeff Neal is a plus 390 dog, but that speaks to the quality of Rachmanov. Nick, do you have any stats on his finishing?
Unbeaten, right? 16-0.
Correct.
In 6 fights from Uzbekistan. In these 16 fights, he has half of them have been KOs and half of them have been submissions. None of his fights have gone the distance.
Ooh, okay. Let's go. Let me see the over-under real quick, Eric. Over 1.5 is -1. Under 1, none of them have gone the distance, and you can get under 1.5 plus 120.
Let's see if they have a tie. His average fight is 6 minutes and 30 seconds, though. So
that still puts you under 1.5.
That puts you under 1.5.
Oh, that does put you under 1.5. Yep. So under 1.5 would be good. What are we looking for method of victory, Eric? Give me win by submission plus 200. So the reason that I'm choosing that is because how'd you say his name? Rachmanov?
Rachmanov. Yeah, dude, this dude's dope. He's
Rachmanov,
so good.
Rachmanov, we just said he's had 16 fights. He's unbeaten in those 16 fights. 8 of them have been by KO. 8 of them have been by submission. If I can get submission 70 points higher, KO's at plus 130, submission is at plus 200. I'm going to take Rachmanov by submission.
Yeah, Jeff Neal's a good fighter, but when a good fighter is valued like this, I don't like that at all. I will say I want Rachmanov in round 2. Let me see Rachmanov.
What is Rachmanov in round 2? Yeah.
Let me get Rachmanov KO in round 2 plus 650.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing, Eric. I'm gonna switch up my thinking though here and say every one of these odds is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take the odds that is less crazy. His average fight is over a round, but under a round and a half. So
that's why I was like thread the needle. Average fight time 6 minutes. Give me the round 2 finish. I'm trying to thread the needle here. Obviously at plus 650, ladies and gentlemen. Understand the risk and the exposure. And that's all I have to say about that. Next fight we have, it's a title fight. We have Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. We have another Mexican. I don't know if she was Mexican born or if she's just Mexican, but we have another Mexican fighter vying for a title. Seems to me that Mexican UFC fighters are having a sort of renaissance since Eric and I watched Moreno seal the deal in Phoenix. It's actually fascinating. I don't think she gets the job done.
So Valentina Shevchenko, obviously from Kyrgyzstan. Like Jermaine said, Alexandria Grasso from Mexico. If you look at their 2 win by submission, Shevchenko's average fight is 17 minutes. Grasso's average fight is 13 minutes. Shevchenko wins 75% of her fights by decisions. Grasso wins 67% of her fights by decisions. What is this? Over 4.5, Eric? I will take over 4.5. And I will take Shevchenko, the favorite, to win by decision.
Can I just bet this to go to decision? I don't know if I've seen that bet. I don't know if I want to pick a winner. Obviously, I think Valentina wins, but
Nick, you said Shevchenko versus Grasso over 4.5, and what's the other one? Sorry.
And Shevchenko to win by decision plus 200.
Yeah, the one you got highlighted, brother.
Sweet.
Bro, minus 675. Valentina Shevchenko's. She's so good, dude. Dude, women UFC fighters, that is so fun to watch, especially when they are the tippy top, the best of the best. Those fights are always so wild to watch.
You can bet to go the distance. To go the distance is plus 140 without choosing a winner.
That's what I want. To go the distance plus 140. Let me get that, Eric.
I would like that as well.
I thought I had saw it, but I was too busy threading needles and picking submissions and KOs. I was like, did I actually make that up in my head? You see what happened was. Man, it's under season in the NBA, bro. Everything's a playoff game now. I love it. Inside baseball, ladies and gentlemen. If you are betting NBA for the rest of the season, lean under. These teams are now playing defense. Every win matters now. East and Western Conference are incredibly tight, top to bottom. Every win matters. Bet the under. All right, let's go to the next fight. I think we're done with this one. We have Jon Jones returning to the UFC after, 3 years again? To take on Cyril Gane. This is going to be in the heavyweight division. It was Jon Jones' debut, and he's minus 165 on this board. Nick, any nugs?
Yeah, I mean, Jon Jones. You kind of got to throw a lot of these stats away for Jon Jones, right? It's his first fight at heavyweight. He, like Jermaine said, he hasn't fought in 3 years. So I'm going to focus on the Cyril Gane. He wins 45% of his fights by KO. However, his average fight time is 16 minutes and 7 seconds. So you got to figure that's what? In a championship bout, that's round 3?
That's round 4. 16 minutes puts you right at the beginning of round 4.
Right. So round 4, he has 45% of his fights by TKO or by KO, 27 by submission and decision. I said you got to throw the Jon Bones stats out. Jon Bones as a light heavyweight, maybe one of the greatest fighters of all time. 43% by KO, 26% by submission, 30% by decision with a 15:28 average fight time. Dude, I'm leaning Gane in this.
Yeah, we're going to pronounce that name differently all over this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's Cyril Gane. I don't know. I've seen him fight a bunch, and for some reason I don't know. Let's
do this. Let's go to Google Translate.
Well, can you scroll down for me, Eric, just to show me the method of victory for both these gentlemen? Oh man, Jon Jones has one loss. Like, how can I bet against Jon Jones?
Because he's never fought a heavyweight before.
And Cyril Gane is
against a dude who is a seasoned heavyweight fighter.
I mean, he's got 12 fights.
Seasoned.
Here
it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying it American.
Gan.
We both did it.
Sorry. Like Google Translate says, Cyril Gane.
Yo, Eric, just give me Gon on the money line. I don't actually think he wins, but I want action in this fight. I don't like Jon Jones minus 165 line, and I don't know if I can bet Jon Jones to win by KO or submission. I haven't seen him in the octagon at heavyweight, so I'm gonna roll the dice with an underdog, and I'll take Cyril Gane to win.
I'm going to go a step further. I will also take Jermaine's bet. I think Gan is going to win. But I also want to take Gan to win by KO.
You think
plus 400. No, sorry. Plus 400.
Nobody thinks Jon Jones is losing, Eric. We're betting the odds right now.
I think he's losing.
You think? I don't think he's losing. He has one loss.
At light heavyweight.
He fought, his biggest rival was a heavyweight.
DC?
And he beat his ass.
When DC walked into the octagon, he was a heavyweight against Jon Jones.
Okay. I am the self-professed third most knowledgeable person on this podcast when it comes to UFC.
No, but that's fine. I'm not saying Jon Jones can't lose. I think any fighter can lose at any given second.
I got a question for you guys. So there's two routes that I see happening with Jon Jones. He comes out how he's trained his whole life. He just does it at a heavier weight. He waits the fight happen. He lets the fight happen. He lets the fight come to him. He picks the man apart, goes to the decision. He wins the decision. Or is he going to come out here and say, I'm trying to prove to the world that I'm ready for heavyweight. Let me get this dude some bows, knock this motherfucker out, call it a day, and sign up for the next fight.
If he does that, he's losing.
I think Jon Jones wants to make a statement.
Okay.
Because of that, Gan is going to win.
Jon Jones has a proverbial chip on his shoulder. I don't know what it is. He comes from a family that is pretty well distinguished in the actual athletic sphere. But the way Jon Jones carries himself, it feels like at all times he thinks everyone is underestimating him. His entire career. Even though we all pretty much unanimously think Jon Jones is the best to ever do it. In him or Anderson Silva or Mighty Mouse. You know, you could probably throw in some other names, but
Conor McGregor.
All right, so that wraps up our UFC 285 discussion. It'll be interesting to see Jon Jones at heavyweight. I'm curious to see what he weighs in at. If he weighs in 245, 250, that's 40, 45 pounds more than we've seen him move. And we're used to Jon Jones being able to drag people into deep water. How does that extra weight for 15, 20 minutes impact Jon Jones' cardio? These are all great, fascinating questions. That's why you love that this fight got set up. You wish it would have been against Ngannou. That ship has sailed. You wish it was against Miocic. I don't think Miocic wants to come out of retirement. He seems pretty content living his Ohio lifestyle.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Maybe he wants to come out because he needs to buy a new property somewhere. Right. But, dude, I think this is incredibly fascinating. I think Cyril Gane poses a threat. Young, hungry, athletic, can take down, can strike. He's a pretty polished UFC fighter, but it's Jon Jones. Right?
Gane is listed Jon Bones is listed at 240 on the UFC website.
240. That's 35 extra pounds. We'll see. We'll see how well he trained for this. He's been training for 3 years. So I would imagine his cardio is pretty good. That's one thing Jon Jones has always done, except for what's it called? The Gustafsson fight where he fucking partied and still went in and won. What a wild man. Anyways, that wraps up our UFC coverage. Eric, you want to take us into, you have the NHL tracker and the NBA tracker, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to start? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was like, do you want to start with NBA or NHL? Because the NBA trade deadline's already passed. NHL still has to hit on Friday. So, do you want to start with NBA?
Well, I wanted to start with NHL.
Cool. All right, let me get that pulled up. All right, so I do have this here. I'm going to share this with you guys so you can see it, but it's basically a list of all the NHL trades that have gone down. And then I have the current standings in the NHL, and I have NHL future bets pulled up. So,
Attaboy Blackhawks, way to be down 2 against the Yotes. Attaboy.
So the first significant trade that I see here, actually no, do you want me to work backwards? Because I have the February 8th, I have the most recent ones. So starting with the most recent ones, the Wild acquired Gustav Nyquist from the Blue Jackets.
I don't know. That doesn't really move the needle. Gustav Nyquist is what, a defender?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a forward.
He's a forward.
Yeah.
Columbus
Okay.
Blue Jackets get a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And it's the Minnesota Wild. Ain't nobody want to talk about them.
All right. So next one, Oilers acquire Matthias Ekholm from Predators.
Yeah.
Is that a needle moving pick or trade?
Yeah. Great defender, Matthias Ekholm. It has been a stalwart for the Preds for most of their franchise, basically.
The Predators just suck now, so they moved him. Speaking of the Predators, did you see that Barry Trotz is going to take over as GM at the end of the season?
If I were a Predators fan, I would love to see that.
Oh yeah, I would. I was like, yo, I hate the Predators. For some reason, I hate the Predators and I hate the Wild. Aside from like the Kings and Lightning but those are teams that the Blackhawks played in the playoffs. But the Predators and the Wild, I don't know why I have significant dislike for both those teams. But Barry Trotz coming in to replace the only GM the Nashville Predators have ever had in their franchise history sounds very interesting to me.
So Ekholm is described by Sportsnet Canada as the top defenseman available at the deadline, a durable two-way defender who's deployable in all situations. So
they said deployable
for an Edmonton team right now that is 6th, but at 72 points, they're 4 points out of first. I think it's a good trade to knock in that back line. Or the top 4D that they have.
The Wild are going to make some noise in this postseason, aren't they?
I don't think so.
You don't? Second round? They'll get bounced in the second?
I think so.
Okay.
There's too many. There's too many good teams in the Western Conference right now. I don't think that the Wild better pray that Calgary doesn't get in. That the Wild better pray that Seattle gets bounced somehow.
Calgary has been disappointing this year.
The Wild better pray that they don't have Colorado in their first round matchup. Because right now, that if the season ended today, it'd be Colorado, Minnesota in the first round.
Oh, that's the 4-5?
Yeah.
Oh, I know you hate the Wild too.
They're the mild, dude. I just don't think that I just don't think they're that good.
Every year I think that, but they always win a bunch of games.
Right? Maybe there are Utah Jets.
Dude, they feel like you remember when the Capitals would always be dominant in the regular season, but you just you watch that team on the ice and you were like, I don't see them winning a Stanley Cup.
Right.
The Wild feel like the Mild feel like a great value version of that Capitals.
Yeah, that's really funny.
But let's keep it pushing, Eric. What's the next one?
All right, so what I want to do, because there's a lot of trades here, I'm going to name the team that traded for, and if they're a contender or not a contender. So the next trade would be the Maple Leafs. Contender?
So here's what we'll do. I'll read the top 8 teams, and we'll just discuss the current playoff seeding teams traded. You can sort by teams, right?
No, I can't sort by teams.
Since the trade deadline, the Maple Leafs have acquired Ryan O'Reilly, Eric Gustafsson, and Luke Shen.
Unreal.
Also, you have Sam Lafferty and Jake McCabe, who are functional players to play in your system. Essentially, I was reading something the other day that said the Maple Leafs got rid of. That's a tab that I didn't have pulled up. There's the tab that I had pulled up. The Maple Leafs basically got rid of Rasmus Sandin and Pierre Engvall, 2 players, and added 6 players to their starting lineup. 6 starters to their lineup.
Yeah, what happened was also all they traded was prospects and picks. So the people that were actually getting ice time for the Maple Leafs that have them this high up in the rankings are still on that team, and they added fucking Riley.
Before we get into this, really though, let me tell you what every Eastern Conference team is doing at the deadline.
All right,
they are loading for bear. And if you don't understand that pun, you don't know what a Bruin is.
Yeah, Boston is so good. They're dominant right now.
Not only is Boston dominant, but they have 4 of their top scorers are playoff veterans. Boston is a scary, scary team to face right now because they don't need to rely on these young guns that have been doing it well, like the Hurricanes. Or they don't have this group of players that has no playoff experience. These guys are battle tested.
Bro, this Bruins team is not very far removed from winning it all.
So when we talk about the Eastern Conference teams, they're giving up a lot.
Yes.
The Devils, the
Rangers.
Maple Leafs, the Rangers are mortgaging their future because they know if they don't win now, right? Also, low-key, a team that didn't give up anything really at the deadline, Carolina didn't make any moves. They're second in the East.
That's what I actually saw that, and I was like, yo, Carolina is just like, yo, we're good. They were the 1 seed last year, correct?
Right. Another team that didn't give up, currently the 5 seed, Tampa Bay didn't really make any moves. Right? Because those teams know and trust in their solid playoff tested core. Maybe Carolina less so. But that Carolina has been, that core has some good playoff minutes behind them.
Yeah, Tampa Bay lost a lot in the offseason, though. So to not add anything, we're not adding, maybe a third line forward, a third line defenseman. Like, you're not adding anything for a postseason run. They must have somebody, because correct me if I'm wrong, you can bring up 3 to 4 of your prospects, right, to bolster your roster before you go into the playoffs.
I believe so, yeah.
Because they always talk about the kid who wasn't they finished their season in the minors, and then they come and sit on the bench. So maybe Tampa has somebody there that they feel comfortable filling in, a 4th line or a 5th line kind of spot. But I'm not doubting Tampa Bay, though.
Tampa Bay did trade for Tanner Jeanette.
Oh, that was a big
traded
trade.
A bunch of picks to Nashville for him. Which, by the way, Nashville is loading up.
Done. Yeah. So Nashville and the Blackhawks. So the Blackhawks have 2 firsts in the next 3 drafts, which is exciting because we just traded Patrick Kane. We'll get into that later, though. I forgot I saw that trade that they pulled off with Nashville, and I thought, Tampa. I did forget about that trade completely. All right, I take back what I said about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. They just keep stretching this window, bro. They should have been done a long time ago, fuckers.
Houston Astros. I mean, you can say the same thing about Boston, right?
That's true.
Like if I bring up right now from NHL.com Boston's top point getters, you'll remember some of these names circa 2010. Like if I pull up stats right now in the regular season, they're leading sorting by points: David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, David Krejci, Patrice Bergeron. And
I think that's a great name, by the way.
Right.
Patrice Bergeron. It just rolls off the tongue.
It's a hockey name for sure.
It's the most Canadian name I might have ever heard.
Bergeron, 37. Krejci, 36. Marchand, 34. Pastrnak is 26, but he's really good.
He's really good. Feels like you're underselling the quality of player Pastrnak is. But
Nick Foligno this year, 26 points. He's 35.
Eric, how many trades have the Rangers made this year? I think from late February to now.
So they have their first trade was they traded once back in November, but it was just for for 5th round pick. But February 9th, they got Vladimir Tarasenko and Nico Mikola. February 19th, they acquired Tyler Mott.
Also a good trade.
February 25th, they acquired William Lockwood and a 7th round pick from the Canucks. February 28th, they got future considerations for some guy named Austin Rushoff. They sent him to the Predators. And then today,
that was
they
a cap
acquired
move.
Patrick Kane and Cooper Zek from the Chicago Blackhawks and Arizona Coyotes.
The Rangers.
The trade deadline can be categorized by Eastern Conference teams mortgaging every prospect package or good young player they have.
Mm-hmm.
If your name is not, and Tampa Bay gave up a lot, so if your name is not Carolina or Boston at 2-1 respectively, you're mortgaging your future to try to beat 2-1.
That was 6 trades, Eric, for the Rangers. Just, I know that not all of them were significant, but that was 6 trades to maneuver the cap, bring in Tarasenko and bring in Patrick Kane. I mean, this Rangers team is going to be a blast to watch in the playoffs. I hope they make a long playoff run just so we can watch that team play. I was worried about chemistry for a bit, and then I saw what they did to the Kings when I had the Kings money line, and that assuaged all concerns. So that I think we're good for the Eastern Conference. Is there any team outside of the top? Oh, yeah.
We talked about the Devils.
Well, see, I always talk about the Devils, so I thought we were just tired of me blowing.
I thought this was you, so continue to talk about the Devils and what they did.
Timo fucking Meyer, baby, let's go!
Probably one of the most outrageous trades that I've seen in recent memory. A five player and a draft pick from the Sharks for a 4 player and 3 draft pick New Jersey Devils squad. Timo Meyer came from the Sharks. Scott Harrington, Timur Ibrahimov, Santeri Hakhtika, and Zachary Emond all came over from the Sharks. Yeah, I mean, Timo Meyer is a great winger. You can get Scott Harrington has been giving the Ducks 15 minutes of ice time. He was traded. Hold on, he's on the Ducks now apparently.
Yeah, Scott Harrington was flipped immediately after they got him.
Yeah,
I saw that too, and I was just like, "Well, that's interesting."
Yeah, mainly it's Timo Meyer that's the big part of this trade.
Look, nobody believed me. The Devils are 3rd in the East, and they're only behind the juggernaut of the Boston Bruins, and then the first place team from last year. This Devils team adding Timo Meyer makes them even more exciting. I don't know what it was as a kid, but the color scheme, the logo, and then just maybe because they were called the Devils, but I always kind of thought the New Jersey Devils were cool, but I also hated them at the same time, if that makes any sense.
I hate you.
This is going to be interesting. The Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be interesting. I love the Devils, and I've been on them all year since the pre, but I don't know if they have enough. I don't know if they're going to make the noise I want them to make in the playoffs for me to just walk around and drop trot on people. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
No, it's great though. It's great. It's good to see that this team took that leap like that. Do you have any other thoughts on Islanders, on Pittsburgh, Buffalo? Oh, Buffalo is right outside of the.
Good luck.
Yeah, Godspeed, my child.
I wanted to ask Nick real quick. How many teams make the playoffs?
16.
8.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
the
number 1 seed in the West would be the number 7 seed in the East right now? That's crazy.
Correct.
Yo, the Eastern Conference has been wild.
Correct. And the number 10 seed in the West is 12 points outside of first place.
The Western Conference is just clusterfuck together. It's actually, I don't know if I've ever seen a conference quite like this, top to bottom in NHL. Usually there's always one team on both conferences that you're just like, oh yeah, they're the best team in the conference. It's not even close. Right now, I guess we could pivot to the Western Conference. Before we pivot to the Western Conference, any team that's on the outside looking in the East that you think can make it in? Or is the 8 that we have right now, ending at Pittsburgh as the 8 seed, is that the 8 that we're getting?
It's been too long. I'm going to say this, and I don't want to say it. It's been too long that the Detroit Dead Things have not been in the playoffs. And when they're this close, you kind of have to think they're sniffing it at least.
They're 3 points back from the 8 spot, but that guarantees a dance with the Bruins.
Right. But how many times have we seen it in hockey? That
all
a
the
team
time.
looks undefeatable.
All the time.
You can't beat them in the regular season. The second that the lights come on for playoff time, they're bouncing a gentleman's sweep.
The President Trophy kiss of death is crazy. It's crazy. I never understand it, but it happens all the time. If Detroit makes it, that was another team I was high on pre. So that'd be dope, but I don't see it. They're 3 points back from Pittsburgh. Eric, did Detroit make any significant additions? I remember them making a trade for somebody and thinking, oh, that's interesting.
The last trade they had was January 18th. They acquired Jasper Weatherby.
No.
Ooh.
Right.
Jasper Weatherby.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was talking out of my ass on that one. All right, let's pivot to the Western Conference. As Nick alluded to, the Western Conference is as tight as possible. The number 1 seed has 76 points, and Nashville, coming in at number 10, has 64. So that's the 12 points Nick's talking about. It's Golden Knights, Dallas Stars, LA Kings, the Avalanche somehow, some way, the Wild, Oilers, the Jets, and the Kraken, who have significantly cooled off since that stretch run. They were one of the few teams. They were the first team to beat Boston at home. And now the Kraken, I mean, cooled off is generous. They're 6 points back from the 1 seed. All right, let's get into. I don't know how many of these teams made a trade, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't a lot. I mean, obviously you have teams basically giving away a lot of stuff in the Western Conference for this stuff. I mean, we already discussed the Ekholm trade. Ivan Barbashev went from the Blues to the Golden Knights. Barbashev is a good forward. He played a lot of his time in St. Louis with Jordan Kuro. It's maybe a benefit of a good line mate. And then this year, he's not. He posted career best numbers last season, and then he doesn't have good numbers this year. I think like 28 points in 59 games or something. 29 points so far. He's a rental for the Knights. That's all that it is, and they didn't really give up that much. The Avs made the move for Jack Johnson. That's kind of the same thing. He's a guy that won a Stanley Cup with them last year. They gave up a guy that they drafted in 2014 in Andreas England. He hasn't really made it at the NHL level. The Winnipeg Jets also acquired Nino Niederreiter. They sent him to the Preds for a 2024 second-round pick. The Preds are just, stashing picks. We already mentioned it, right? But
Barry Trotz is going to have a treasure trove to play with, man.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely can get it right if he needs to, right?
Yeah, if he doesn't, it's almost embarrassing at that point. the West was more the West playoff picture. The best way to describe it is don't be a slave to the seedings.
Right.
That's how I'd best describe the West playoff picture. You're going to see some matchups that it's going to tell you, oh, this person's the favorite. Ignore that. Bet with what you think. Compare the two teams because there are going to be some upsets in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I think kind of the yin to the Eastern Conference's yang is that every Western Conference team is pretty satisfied with their team. You look at the teams. Like I said, the 10th place team is 10 points out of first place. If you go on a run, a streak of 3 games, well, now you've put yourself back in the playoffs, right? No Western Conference team needs to make this huge, bold move because they have a team that's put them in contention, and they just know that they need to get there and play playoff hockey.
Yeah. Both conferences are going to be awesome to watch for 2 totally different reasons. Like, the arms race of the East, and then just the overall. How do you best describe that? Just how competitive the Western Conference is.
Je ne sais quoi.
So, let's go ahead and wrap our NHL coverage with a way too early Stanley Cup final prediction. Who do you have, Nick?
Colorado Avalanche and man. I'm going to be bold and say Carolina Hurricanes.
Carolina Hurricanes, huh?
I think every year you've seen some sort of expectation put on Carolina. And their young players have not been able to play well. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this year might be the first year that they can just play with reckless abandon. They have been. Right?
Nope,
86
nobody's
points. Talking about them.
The quietest, second best team.
Right. A team that was a number 1 seed last year, and we're not talking about them.
And contrary to what Calgary did, Carolina didn't get worse this offseason.
Right.
Whereas Calgary did, and that's why they're underperforming. I am going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
I have Toronto facing the New York Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I have the Edmonton Oilers getting revenge on the Colorado Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals.
And what a revenge it would be. Colorado swept them last year.
Yeah, I don't think they sweep Colorado. I don't. You don't sweep the defending champ. I don't think that happens. They're gonna get at least 1, and I think it's gonna go. I think that could go 7. So that's what I have. I'm going an all Canadian final. I think it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for the postseason. I never can. As soon as the regular season starts, I want it to be the postseason because it's fucking awesome. But I can't wait this year. That's going to wrap our NHL coverage. We'll bring more NHL content to you as we get closer to the actual postseason. We'll actually review some of the awards that they're going to be handing out and see who we think actually wins those awards or who the runaway favorite is. Let's go ahead and get into the NBA. So the NBA has had another memorable trade deadline. Stop me if you've heard that fucking sentence before. And now the playoff teams are set, and this is who we're going to have. Eric, will you go through some of the trades we have? Just rattle them off, and then we'll talk about the teams themselves.
All right, so I'm gonna just start back with like the first significant trade that happened to set everything off. So the Lakers got Hachimura from the Wizards. Then on February 6th, we got the Mavericks trading for Kyrie Irving. So the Mavericks get Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. The Nets got Spencer Dinwiddie, second go-around in Brooklyn, and Dorian Finney-Smith, and some picks. The Heat trade Dedmon to the Spurs. We'll keep pushing on that. The Kings, no, we're going to keep pushing on that. The Raptors add Poeltl from the Spurs, Jacob Poeltl.
I think that's a solid pickup. I like that.
And the Spurs got Kem Birch. Now, we did have a crazy three-team trade here. The Lakers trade Westbrook to the Jazz. But basically, the Lakers get D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt, which is the Timberwolves, right? And then the
Vanderbilt came from, and Malik Beasley came from Utah because they were traded in the Gobert trade. And then D'Angelo Russell,
yeah.
doesn't matter. They are on the Lakers now.
Two teams that had a major trade in the offseason decided to team up again and do a crazy trade with the Lakers. So the Timberwolves get Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and a bunch of picks. And then the Jazz receive Russell Westbrook, who has now been bought out and plays for the Clippers. Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and they got a first-round pick from the Lakers. I'm going to skip that. Patrick Beverly got traded. Thomas Bryant got traded, but we're going to skip that. The Suns, the Suns trade for Kevin Durant.
Okay, pause. I know I said we would talk about it afterwards, but all offseason, it was where will KD go? And then they settled it, right? And nobody talked about it. And I remember Eric and I were sitting there like, yo, he's getting traded at the trade deadline, right? And then the Brooklyn Nets looked outstanding. And so we're like, yo, KD's not getting traded. Kyrie shocks the world again. Stop me if you've heard that sentence. And requests a trade. And the very next day, KD is sent to Phoenix in what is the quietest... I don't know, man. Is this the biggest trade in NBA history, trading KD like that at the deadline?
I think it's the quietest trade of a star ever.
I mean, think about adding KD to Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. Keep in mind, those three are 1 year removed from playing in the NBA Finals. KD is 34, is a walking 25 points.
Brings playoff experience.
Brings playoff experience. Plays great defense. You good, dude? Mm-hmm. All right. And then...
He's just so sad about it.
I just got a sinus headache really bad that just popped up on me.
Oh, all right. Oh, I thought he was crying because KD went to the Suns.
No, it's like a shooting pain that just ran up right here.
All right. If you got to step away, you can.
Dude, play through pain.
I am.
Yo, but I mean, is there a bigger trade than KD? I'm just curious. Is there? At the trade deadline. I don't
think so. Yeah. I mean,
is that a crazy sentence? There's a lot of crazy trade deadline trades, but this is Kevin fucking Durant.
I mean, the Mason Plumlee trade for me is the biggest.
But we'll take this conversation offline, Eric. when we get some time to think about it, you don't have a headache. Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to think it's because every year there's so many trades that happen, and I'm just thinking recently James Harden getting traded to the Sixers, that doesn't compare. I'm just saying big name trades that I can think of, but. No, I mean, not anybody at Kevin Durant's caliber. Kyrie's been traded, but no, this was. We're gonna have to sit down and really talk about this, but I think this might be the biggest trade at the trade deadline.
I love that I waited to talk to you about this on the podcast,
especially considering what the impact he's gonna bring to that team, how they're constructed, what he's gonna do, and how I don't believe the talking heads. I don't believe casual fans of basketball really understand what's about to happen with this team. If they stay healthy and they have those guys deep in the bench that can give them just shut up and play a little bit of basketball, it's all we need from you. This is probably going to be the scariest team in the playoffs.
Yo, he's back tomorrow.
All right, yeah. So I have an NBC Sports article from I wonder if they'll show me when it's from.
If not, it's a terrible written article. If it doesn't have the author and the date immediately under the headline, it's one of
those fancy. It's one of them fancy websites where the you scroll through and they give you big graphics and stuff like that.
Oh,
so I don't. All right, so I'll just read them off and you guys can tell me.
All right.
76ers trade for Mutombo 2001.
Oh, that led to us making a finals run. That doesn't compare to.
It's a great trade.
Yeah.
It's not KD.
Bulls send Ron Artest to the Pacers, 2002.
Next.
Ray Allen for Gary Payton, 2003.
To the Sonics?
No. But they paired him with Rashard Lewis. That shit was wild, bro.
Rasheed Wallace to the Pistons, 2004.
That one directly resulted in a championship, but it's not KD.
Are those trade deadline trades? Or
Yes, specifically trade deadline deals. Celtics reacquiring Antoine Walker, 2005.
No. You don't remember the trade deadline when Rasheed got added and it completely changed that Pistons team?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I just I wasn't sure if this list was going to be all that.
Oh, okay. All right. Keep it pushing, Nick.
Lakers get Pau Gasol, 2008.
Oh, shit.
They did win a championship. They win multiple championships with that.
I mean, and Pau Gasol is a perennially underrated player. That dude is so. I think we have our closest. We have our closest one so far.
Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks, 2011.
That's a big time trade, but KD's better than Carmelo. Yeah,
they didn't do anything for the Knicks except
also, who's better, KD or Carmelo?
KD.
Huh?
You said Melo?
I'm kidding, dude. It's Kevin Durant.
Celtics trade Kendrick Perkins, 2011.
Get the fuck out of here. That made me upset you said that one.
That's dumb. Isaiah Thomas to the Celtics, 2015.
No.
DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans, 2017.
Man, that Pelicans team was so good with AD and DeMarcus and Rajon Rondo.
2018, the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to blow it up. And that's the biggest deal since 2000, according to this website.
Was Anthony Davis a preseason trade or?
No, he requested it in the offseason.
Oh, he requested. Okay, so it happened in the offseason.
Actually, he may have requested the trade. They didn't trade him at the trade deadline, and then they moved him in the offseason.
Okay. I just couldn't remember if he. For some reason I thought it was like maybe 8 games into the season he came or something like that.
No, it was in the offseason because that's when the Lakers fucking sent a Herculean package. Because remember, they traded AD and then the NBA lottery, the NBA lottery happened. They got the 1 and then they traded AD, the other way around. They traded AD, then got the 1, but that was well into June, July timeframe. I'm telling you, bro. KD, it might be the biggest trade in NBA history. Maybe. I'd have to look at them all, but it's up there, dude. That shit's crazy to me. Also because there wasn't the week of buildup that you usually see for these stars to get shipped. It was just Kyrie got traded, and then KD was gone.
I think the Nets realized it was time that this experiment failed. It was the right thing to do.
And
can I say, I just want to thank the Brooklyn Nets organization for letting Ben Simmons rot in basketball purgatory for the rest of his goddamn fucking life. I hope that man never gets out of the black and white uniform, and hopefully he ends up in an orange jumpsuit.
You don't wish that last one.
That's so grumpy. The Brooklyn Nets, by the way, got a war chest for Kevin Durant. And, by the way, are still 6th in the Eastern Conference.
Here's what's crazy about the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets got less first-round picks than the Jazz got for Rudy Gobert.
Well, yeah, Rudy Gobert's a better player. I don't mean that. Hoop heads. I don't mean that. I'm an idiot when it comes to basketball.
No, I was about to be like, who's got more hardware?
Oh, Jesus.
Mandam did win 4 Defensive Players of the Year, dude. That's hard to beat.
No championships, dude. Go Birds.
KD has 2 Finals MVPs.
I'm not gonna say. I overheard a video the other day, and I don't want to trigger you, but Mandam needs to win one without Steph to see if he's actually one of the GOATs.
Oh, yeah, Charles.
I actually agreed with that. I agreed with that heavy.
I'm with you. I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense because what KD and LeBron did is the same thing, except LeBron went and won one somewhere else.
Yeah, and I don't really.
By somewhere else, it's Cleveland too.
And I also, to that point, not to diverge us too much here, but to that point, I don't really see joining Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton as like, but he is gonna be the main guy, which Was he the main guy in Oakland? Yes, I would say he was, but
In Oakland?
Golden State. They
Oh.
played in Oakland. Sorry,
Hell no, he was not the main guy.
it was Steph, right?
That was
1000%,
Steph's
it was
team.
Steph. Okay, so that yeah, he's got to win a championship. He's got to lead a team to a championship on his own. And
Is he the leader of Phoenix right now?
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%.
Well,
No hesitation.
I mean,
Yes.
he's. But the thing is, this team is literally just. They just added another player who's recently, not his whole career, but recently has had some serious injury struggles. And they have Chris Paul, who is a legitimate perennial injury. He gets injured every year.
Yeah,
It's gonna
you still
happen
have
again.
you still have Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. I'm not worried about Chris Paul's injury no more. This is crazy. This team just went to the finals. Not last year, the year before
yeah.
was just in the finals, and
Like
they
I
added
prefaced
KD.
Like I prefaced it earlier, this is going to be the scariest team in the NBA playoffs because we saw the stat: DeMar DeRozan, king of the mid-range, king of the mid-range. It's not even close. He had like almost double everybody else. Okay, so let's put him in a little bubble over here by himself.
DeMar
Number
DeRozan's
two-
a savage, dude.
Number 2, number 3, and number 4 for mid-range was Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. And what you said on that day was, or was it you or the announcer said, but when you're that good at that spot, that's the spot that people are going
It was
to
me.
give you. Yeah.
I was
because
about to
they're
say
not
it
going to
again,
let
yeah.
you, they're not, again, quoting Jermaine, they're not going to let you just, they don't want you to blow by them. They don't want you to hit the 3, so they're going to give you that little middle ground. And if you're the 3 of the 4 best people at that area, that position shooting there, in a 7-game series where it doesn't come down to, like, it's going to be crazy, man. I'm fucking so mad they got him.
Go Nuggets.
Here's exactly what Eric's trying to say. When you're coaching defense in basketball, there's 2 things that you're incredibly adamant about. It is protect the basket and don't give up wide open threes. You have 3 of the top 4 mid-range shooters for the last 5 to 7 years on the same team. That is the easiest spot to get a bucket from because everyone's comfortable with letting you take a mid-range jump shot. The potential is crazy. It is potential until it's realized. There's an incredible amount of pressure on this Phoenix Suns team. Like I've said over and over and over again, they were just in the finals 2 years ago, and they added Kevin Durant. The pressure has been maximized, magnified, and has become so damn suffocating that if they don't get it done, the longer it goes with them not getting it done, the worse it's going to get. This Phoenix Suns seems crazy. All right. I think is that the last big trade, or is there anything else?
That was oh my god, my mic froze or my mouse froze. That was the last big trade. Yeah. There's a couple smaller trades like the Sixers getting Jalen McDaniels and stuff like that, but nothing that's gonna move the needle that much.
Yeah, good role playing pieces. All right, so current Eastern Conference standings: you have the Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavaliers, Knicks, Nets. Those are the top 6. They are outside of the play-in bubble, or sorry, not the play-in bubble, the play-in tournament. In the play-in tournament, you currently have the Heat, Hawks, Raptors, and Wizards. And then just outside that, you have Chicago and Indiana. That's the top 12. In the Western Conference, you have Denver, Memphis, Sacramento. And Eric and I will talk about that one right in a second because we just had the conversation about this yesterday. Phoenix, Clippers, quietly in the 5th seed. Dallas Mavericks. What happened?
With Russell Westbrook.
And they added Russell Westbrook. And so those are the top 6. So Clippers, Mavericks rounds out the top 6. Then you have the Golden State Warriors, defending champions, at 7. You have the Utah Jazz at 8. Hell yeah. Shout out my boy Larry. And then you have the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New Orleans Pelicans rounding out the play-in tournament. Just outside of that, you have the Portland Trailblazers at 29 and 31, and you have the Los Angeles Lakers at 29 and 33. and LeBron James just got hurt. It fucking sucks, man. It was going to be exciting to watch the Lakers down the stretch to see if they could actually get into this fucking playoffs, and now you're like, God damn it.
I was thinking about that today. I think this puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Anthony Davis because he has to be able to take this team at least to a play-in.
Let's see. So he is currently 1 game back from the 10 spot.
Yeah.
He is 2.5 games back from the 7 spot, and he is 3 games back from the 6 spot. The Lakers have played 50. They played 62 games. So they have 20 games left. Anthony Davis needs to win 75% of his games.
Let me read this to you right here. Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Golden State, Memphis, Toronto, New York, New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, Orlando, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, Chicago, Minnesota, Houston, Utah, Clippers, Suns, Jazz. That's not a hard schedule.
They have the 5th easiest schedule remaining in the league. They have the 3rd easiest schedule in the Western Conference. I may have that a little off, but that's how easy that schedule is.
You have to be able to you should get a top 8 seed. You should be able to get to the top 8.
I agree.
If you can't, you get the play-in game. Hopefully LeBron's only out for the 2 weeks, they say, right? Because as much as I dislike him off the court and stuff, we say this a lot. We want the best product possible. We want the best players playing.
I want to watch LeBron in the playoffs.
Yes.
Like, I don't dislike LeBron. I have 2 sneakers of LeBron. I just hooped on Sunday in LeBron sneakers. I don't dislike LeBron. That is a common misconception. LeBron's fans see me. But, bro, so the 2-week news that they reported for LeBron James, they reported the 2 weeks to soften the blow. It is expected to be 3 to 4. The news is reevaluate in 2 weeks. He could potentially miss almost all of March.
I'm sorry, but if you're Anthony Davis and you're a $200 million man and you're the guy that LeBron James wanted to mortgage the future for, you got Golden State without Steph, an aging Draymond, who let's not mention how banged up the Warriors are. All right, you got Dallas Mavericks who just made a ginormous trade, ruptured their chemistry. They're gonna have to build chemistry. You have Minnesota, who is a perennial underachiever. You have the New Orleans Pelicans, who is Zion's out again, right? With the hammy? Again?
Zion's been out. He hasn't come back.
So there's all these teams that have all these players that are their superstar players out, and they're making do of it, right? And we got Damian Lillard, who's single-handedly going to fucking carry this team into a play-in game because he's a goddamn animal, and nobody gives that man enough respect. But
I wore my Dame 7s today, the Ric Flairs. Woo!
Dude, look, I'm just saying, this is make or break for the Lakers for me. If Anthony Davis cannot do this simple task of getting you to the fucking playoffs, move on from him, move on from fucking LeBron James, and start thinking about the future because you've already mortgaged most of it for these 2 idiots. And you got a 1 championship on a bubble season, and it's been nothing but negative headlines and ridiculousness. It's time to move on if they don't get it done this year. It's over. It's done. Move on from the experiment. It failed. Or it didn't fail. You won a championship. But it didn't succeed at the grand level that everybody said it was going to.
I believe the hashtag you're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is mic drop. Yo, god damn, Eric. It feels like, some kind of way, my guy.
I have Anthony Davis has LeBron James and all this Laker media and shit, and I got JoJo sitting here second place in MVP voting every year, and the goddamn Sixers won't do anything to help him win a championship and get us busted ass James Harden. Bring in somebody for us to win.
LeBron to the Sixers.
No.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Am I willing to sell my soul for a championship?
LeBron or Anthony Davis?
Yo, that's so funny. The tune changed so quickly. All right. So let's have a little discussion here. Who do you see coming out of the Eastern Conference, Nick? Do you want me to read the standings one more time?
I got it.
Okay.
Man, it's hard to look past the top 3, but picking a team out of that.
It's a crapshoot, bro. When these teams play each other, it's electric.
You know what? I'm going to say Boston, right? Milwaukee's on this amazing win streak right now, 14 games, and they're tied with Boston for the Eastern Conference. So you're telling me Milwaukee had to go on a 14-game win streak just to be tied with Boston?
Yeah, because they didn't have Chris Middleton until mid-January. That's their second best player. Well, he might be their third best player now because Drew is just fucking playing lights out. Giannis has missed some time. Giannis is out right now. That's what a lot of people aren't talking about. This win streak is going on, and Giannis is missing the back end of it. Honestly, dude, Boston, there's something about watching the Celtics that seems off. And I've been saying this for years. It's kind of like my Utah Jazz stance, right? I'm not saying they're the Utah Jazz. They can win in the playoffs, but remember last year's playoff run, Boston would blow out the team. The very next game, get blown out. Next game, they blow the brakes off the team, get blown out. Like
It just happened again. They had a fucking crazy game against Philly.
Uh-huh.
And then they come and they lose to who?
The Knicks.
The Knicks. Seed, so the Knicks aren't no joke or anything, but it's the fucking Knicks. Come on.
Yeah, so the Sixers and Celtics played an absolute banger of a playoff game, which the NBA chat refuses to actually talk about actual games that are happening. I don't know. My friends are ridiculous. Absolute great game. Both teams lose on Monday after that game. Like, that's how significant that game was. Like, it took Jimmy Butler to hit a miraculous shot to beat the 76ers, and then the Celtics were down 14. And Jason Tatum gets ejected to the Knicks. I'm pretty sure it was in Boston. Yeah, no, it was in New York. All right. So Nick has Boston. Who do you have, Eric?
You've asked me this multiple times outside of this podcast, and I flip a coin. Milwaukee. I'm gonna go Milwaukee because they're gonna get healthy, and they haven't had a chance to like fully defend that fucking title they had. I don't know. I don't know, man. Boston's hit or miss. I'm gonna go Milwaukee just because that's what I think. Giannis is still the best player in basketball, minus that one dude up in Denver who shall not be named anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna go Milwaukee just for the sake of giving an answer right now. But this will change 1,000 times before the playoff starts.
I'm going Philadelphia.
Oh please.
I'm going Philadelphia.
Last time you picked Philadelphia to win something, it didn't work out the way I wanted to. So,
look, are the referees going to throw something in again?
I have no idea.
All right, so I got Philly. Nick's got Boston. You got Milwaukee. Let's go into the Western Conference. Nick, who do you got?
Dude, it's here, dude. It's time to mine for a championship, baby.
There we go. Nick's taking the Nuggets. All right, who do you got, Eric?
I'm gonna go with the
Wearing my jersey with pride.
Clippers.
You're going with the Clippers.
Yeah, dog.
Nick, dude, if the Clippers go to the finals with Russell Westbrook after all that bullshit that happened in LA with the Lakers, I will die laughing. I've said this over and over again. You and I have just romanticized this idea because it'd be hysterical. Just to see the world implode. I do love to watch a good world burning. God, dude, I'm going Phoenix. Phoenix. I really am. I think Phoenix is going to make the finals. Phoenix, Philadelphia in 7.
That would be literally, mark my words, if that happens, because Jermaine said it, I will get his face tattooed on my leg. Next to the other face I have tattooed on my leg.
Lock it.
That's a lock. That's a lock. If the
it.
Sixers win a championship this year, Jermaine, I will get your face tattooed on my leg. I don't even have to put it in the sheet. Hand of God, I'm a man of my word. I've done it before. I'll do it again.
Put it in the sheet. Put it in the sheet.
It's going in the sheet.
Hey, look, the episode's over. You guys got anything else for the roomies? No? All right. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Podcast Room303. I've been your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This has been my co-host, Nicholas Moorhan. And as always, we have with us the EPE. We'll see you next time when you come on down and step into the room.